Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we are going to be talking about the different automakers and how their vehicle sales are doing this year. We're going to mention the automakers that are doing well and the ones that are not doing so well, like Stellantis, aka Dodge, Ram, Jeep, Chrysler, and Tesla. Before we get into this video though, as always, if you're going to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. These figures come from goodcarbadcar.net. They're not going to be perfect down to the exact vehicle sold, but they're going to be close enough with all the manufacturers. And what we're going to do is go down the list. We're going to talk about how the manufacturers are doing, and I'm just going to give kind of like a little synopsis on every single manufacturer, basically why I think they're doing well or poorly based on what I've seen. So first one's BMW Group. This contains BMW Mini. Not sure if it also contains Rolls-Royce, but they're slightly up. Last year they were at 184,000 units as of about the midpoint of the year. This year, 187,000 units. Now with BMW, what I've seen is the dealers have been willing to work with customers on discounts with their cars, and so I think that's definitely helping them move volume in the luxury sphere, because that market has taken a pretty big hit. Again, luxury items are usually the first items to go when the economy is not doing all that great. Ford is up, and they're up by a pretty large margin. Last year, they were just barely over 1 million units. This year, 1,050,000, so it's a pretty solid increase in terms of the unit amount, up about 50,000 units so far. And with Ford, I think that they've had some decent lease programs, they've had some decent discounts, they've had some good product come out, like the new Ford Ranger, for example. So I think all of that's kind of coming together to help out Ford. And then obviously they got their Ford credit set up that gets pretty much anyone approved, so that also helps out. General Motors is down by a little bit, 1.29 million last year versus this year 1.28 million. And I think the reason why General Motors is slightly down is, you know, with Cadillac, they're not able to produce the vehicles that people want. They're producing a lot of the stuff that, it's not like they're undesirable cars, but it's not what people are looking for. And same thing with like Chevy and GMC, like Canyons and Colorados. Those have been super popular, and they're not producing enough of, again, the models that people want. So I think that's kind of impacting them. And then I think the other thing is they had such a good year last year, and last year's market's going to be about the same size as this market. And so it's like a situation where they could only go down from where they were at. Honda, last year, they were at 631,000 units. This year, 679,000. I think that Honda is a really safe bet this year for buyers, or at least they see it as a safe bet. They still sell a lot of affordable cars. They're deemed as reliable by a lot of buyers, and so I think that's helping them out quite a bit. The Hyundai Motor Group, so Hyundai, Kia, Genesis, all of that, they're barely up. 815,000 units last year. This year, 817,000 units. I think that, again, they have affordable cars. Not really known for reliability, but they've got great warranties, so that helps out quite a bit. Some of these are niche, so I'm not going to go over those. Here we go. Next one that's kind of major, Jaguar Land Rover. They're up, but not by that much. Last year, 32,000 units. This year, 37,000 units. I think they're finally able to produce cars, so that's helping out quite a bit with vehicle sales. It's just production. They don't really have a lot of deals on their cars. Again, they're a small manufacturer in the US in terms of volume. So I think it really just comes down to the fact that they're producing. This is a pretty cool one. Mazda, 185,000 units last year. This year, over 200,000 units. Mazda's had a big increase. A lot of people are leaving Toyota and Honda for Mazda because of, you know, some of the reliability things with Honda and Toyota. Again, Honda and Toyota have the reputation. Some of that reputation is going away, and a lot of people are going to Mazda because they just build good cars. Mercedes-Benz, 169,000 last year. This year, 179,000. I think with Mercedes, again, it just comes down to production. Like G-Wagons, my goodness, they are pumping those things out. So I think they're producing more cars, so they're selling more cars. Mitsubishi's up. I think this is just comes down to a price point. Mitsubishi has a lot of price point cars, and we're in a price point market, so that helps them out. And if you're wondering with the next one, Nissan. 480,000 units last year. This year, 489,000 units. So not a huge increase, but a slight increase. Again, I think with Mitsubishi, price point car. You might want to hear about this one, even though it's a niche one. Rivian. Last year, 16,800. This year, 25,000. So Rivian's had a pretty good increase. Again, I think that comes down to the fact they're able to produce cars. And also, their cars have actually done really well. Unlike some of the other startups like, Lucid, for example, and Fisker, the Rivians have become really popular. Now, this is our first big loser, and that is Stellantis. Last year, they ran at over 800,000 units. This year, they haven't even cracked 700,000 yet, 677,000 units. I think this is a few things. Reputation, right? A lot of their new product has not been all that reliable. And then you pair that with the fact that they overpriced them or price themselves out of the market with a lot of their cars. And you also pair that with the fact that some of their cars just aren't all that competitive within their segments. I mean, Ram 2500 has the worst payload in its segment. And I could go on, but there's a lot that Stellantis has going against them. And on top of that, they're trying to release new engines, and these engines are completely against the ethos of their brands. Like, they're trying to sell electric Dodges. Good luck with that. I mean, I shouldn't say it like that, but we'll see what happens. But I definitely think it's going to be a tough road ahead for Stellantis with everything they have going against them. And that's why, again, they're down. They're down more than pretty much anyone else. Subaru last year, 304,000. This year, 322,000. Price point. Tesla, they're down actually probably more than, Stellantis was 800 to 600. Tesla is 343,000 to 214,000. Tesla is, oh my goodness, Tesla's getting slaughtered this year. And again, we've seen a huge pullback from EVs. People don't want EVs. And I think Tesla also buried a lot of their customers because of their huge price cuts. A lot of people that already had Teslas, right, now they're mega upside down on their cars. Dealerships weren't taking them in as trade. And so the people that would buy Teslas can't. Like, they're broke now. They're broke because they're so upside down on their cars. And so I think that, again, just the general consensus against EVs, people want hybrids, they want gas cars, they don't want EVs. And Tesla burying their customers has led to that. Toyota is, well, a big winner this year. 1 million last year at this point. Now we're at 1.18 million this year. So pretty big increase in terms of sales volume. Toyota just comes down, and this includes Lexus, by the way. It just comes down to volume. They're able to produce more cars this year, so they're selling more cars. But we'll see what happens next year. I think Toyota might have some struggles next year because of the reliability issues with that new twin-turbo V6 and some of their other cars, I mean the Tacoma, that four-cylinder, they've been having issues with the engine, the transmission. And so if Toyota's reputation gets tarnished enough, that might hurt sales for a few years. It doesn't help that they're in a massive amount of debt as well. Volkswagen Group, 289,000 units last year. This year, over 300,000. Price point. I think it's that simple. They're producing more cars. Price point. It says Volkswagen Group, so I guess that might also include Porsche and Audi. And Porsche is always going to sell cars. Like, it doesn't matter what they build, they will sell them because Porsche people, it doesn't matter. They just buy them. And then Audi has had some good leases, so there's my take on that. Volvo, 59K last year. This year, 62K. I think that because Volvo has kind of like, been ahead on the hybrid side of things, and the hybrids are really popular right now, that's really benefiting Volvo. They also have some good deals on a lot of their cars. So hybrids, good deals, that's helping out Volvo. So let me know what you guys think about the overall car industry, but this year is a year where automakers are either being really dumb or really smart, in my opinion, right? The EV automakers, they're going to struggle because the market's against EVs, but legacy automakers like Stellantis should not be struggling. If their cars were priced right, and if they had the right features in their categories, they would be selling them well. And Stellantis has some of the biggest discounts, and Stellantis does suffer from what I'll call Tesla syndrome at this point, where they discount their cars so quickly and so much that it depreciates the used ones. It wipes out their buyers that currently own them. Like, a lot of people want to buy new product from Stellantis, but they can't because they're buried in their current product from Stellantis. It's not necessarily the best situation. Let me know what you guys think about this, and I'll see ya.